Pallavi madam.
Yes, ma'am. The meeting has been started.
Pallavi madam, पहली slide share के लिए.
Yes, ma'am.
Pallavi madam.
Yes, ma'am. The meeting is started. We can start now. We are live.
Good morning and welcome to all the delegates here and all seniors all over from India. I am Dr. Sulbha Amol Pawar from Nashik, Maharashtra. I'll be moderating today's session. First of all, I welcome Dr. C.P. Bansal sir, Dr. Geeta Patil ma'am, Dr. R.J. Patil sir, and all the seniors here. Dr. Atul Kanikal sir, our own speaker. I just want Dr. Sham Chaudhary sir to speak few words about the today's program.
श्याम बोल. आवाज नाही येते तुझा.
Okay.
Mute.
Ata?
आता येतोय.
Okay. Good morning to all the dignitaries, especially our respected Dr. Bansal sir, Geeta ma'am, our beloved Atul, Nashik A.H.A. President Sucheta ma'am, Nashik A.H.A. Secretary Reena ma'am, Convener Milin, IIP, Maha IIP Convener Milin, and all the respected delegates. I am happy to welcome you all for this second episode of P.A.T.H. And I really congratulate Atul for shouldering this responsibility. I sincerely thank and appreciate Dr. Bansal sir and Geeta ma'am for accepting our invitation, because this is the most delicate and most important topic. I hope we all will empower to handle this with more accuracy and more confidence in our OPD. All the best. Thank you very much. Over to you, Sulbha.
Dr. Atul Kanikal sir, please highlight in few words.
Actually, all that I want to say is this is our Maha P.A.T.H. office bearers, especially our chairperson, Dr. Ramakant Patil. His thoughtful task bestowed on my shoulder was to pick up the topics, choose the best speakers who would share their wisdom and knowledge, not only to Nasik or Maharashtra, but all across the country. As I can see on the screen, there are so many people outside Maharashtra as well. And the topics that we have chosen, previous meeting we had Tuteja sir and our M.K. Sinayar sir, who started with the February program of 2023. And this month we have chosen most beautiful speakers and talented friends of mine, Dr. Bansal sir, our Golden Jubilee President, and the man of missions. So many missions. He's every day is picking up some mission. Recently, he was telling me about all of us about the recent virus. So he moves from newborn to teenage to youth now, and I have not seen a more dynamic and enthusiastic teacher than Dr. C.P. Bansal. Another speaker, today's speaker, is Dr. Geeta Patil, my friend, and now our chairperson of A.H.A. Okay, and she is going to teach us about how to teach our children as parents or teachers or doctors about sexuality education. And third is myself, who will be talking of sexual experimentations from children to youth. And all these information has been picked up from our day-to-day practice. That's the most beautiful part of this particular today's meeting. So over to you, Sulba madam. Sulba madam, are you there? Okay. Yeah, Sulba madam, please.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Our today's first speaker is Dr. C.P. Bansal, sir. All the dignitaries here, they all know C.P. Bansal, sir, well. C.P. Bansal, sir, is member of International Pediatric Academy, Adolescent Health 2022. He is chairman of IAP NRP. He is former editor of Indian Journal of Adolescent Medicine. He was the most dynamic national president, Indian Academy of Pediatrics 2013 Golden Jubilee year. He is the founder president of SAPA 2014 to 16, that is South Asia Pacific Association. Then he was the former chairman of IAP NRP, MU, MKU, ACVIP, ICP, BLS, NPH, and SCOPP. He is the chairman IAP Advisory Committee for Vaccines and Immunization Pediatrics 2013 to 15. He was the former Honorable Secretary General and chairman of IAP AHA and IAP CMIC chapters. Sir, even if I am giving all the CV, it is less for you. Please go through your presentation now. Dr. C.P. Bansal, sir. Are you able to share the slides?
Yes, I am. Just a moment. Is it visible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So thank you very much. It is indeed a great pleasure and pride for me to share my views on a very important topic. I'll say a very vital topic. I'll say a very needed topic, and yet very less focused upon, stigmatized, and all those things. I'll start saying that, do you know that India is a country where we have almost 86 rape cases per day, 86 rape cases per day, and almost more than about 70 women per hour are suffering from some sort of violation. And this statistics is of 2021 and of National Crime Report Bureau, that is a government agency, which itself say that these cases are quite underreported to the tune of 31%, although we know that it is much more underreported. And yet, sex remains a taboo topic in India. Homosexuality was only decriminalized by 377 in just 218 few years back. Marital rape is still legal in our country. However, premarital sex remains frowned upon. Marriage still remains unavoidable, especially for women, and less than 10% Indian men use condom, although globally the use of condom is declining, And according to, this is the data according to NFHS 5, and this places burden of family planning primarily on women. However, our adolescents remain quite ignorant about sex and sexuality, and thus they have to figure out everything for themselves. They have to find out from how to have safe sex to how to have an orgasm. They have to find out why women are being killed for not bleeding on their wedding night. And they also have to find out themselves that why queer teens are being sent to quacks for such unethical practices like being cured by conversion practices. And thus I thank Atul for giving me this opportunity to share my views on adolescent sexual health. And I say it is an unknown horizon. And of course, there are so many changing trends in it. I'll be covering a couple of these headings today. But before that, I'd like to share few statistics that among young women aged 20 to 24 years, do you believe that almost 1/4, that is 1 in 4, and this data is of NFHS 5. This is the status of child marriage, and therefore India is rightly called as hub of child marriages today. Among adolescent girls between 15 to 19 years, almost 7% were already mothers when this survey was done. And adolescent fertility rate between 15 to 19 is as high as 43. And unmet need means the need, they realize the need, they know the need, but services are not available. So this speaks about the status of services, that unmet need for contraception in this age is 27%. Almost quarter, more than quarter, who need contraception are not able to get it. And yet, we are clueless about adolescent sexuality. Probably we have forgotten that we take care of the largest adolescent population of the world. That is almost 23%. Now, if we really want to understand adolescent sexuality, we should realize that it involves mainly 3-4 things. First, your physical makeup. How you think about yourself is second, and how you feel about others, and how you feel about the society in which you live upon. So 3 things are very important: sex, which is assigned to you at birth; your gender identity, that what you think you are; and sexual orientation, what you feel about others. So let us come to see what is sex assigned at birth. You know that if you are born with a penis, you are called a boy. If you are born with a vagina, you call as girl. But only very minuscule, that is 1.7%, they are born with ambiguous sex, so they are intersex. That is not under the scope of today's discussion. So sex assigned at birth, you could either be a boy or a girl. I think this is quite clear. Now, what is gender identity? Gender identity is how you feel from inside. Whether I am a boy or I am a girl, this is your gender identity. And there are 3 types. It is cisgender. That means it is clear that I am a boy and I feel that I am a boy. I am a girl and I feel I am a girl. This is cisgender. Transgender is you are born as a boy and you feel that you are a girl, or vice versa. This is called as transgender. And non-binary or gender fluidity or queer gender or gender non-conforming, they are all synonymous, where you do not identify with one gender, that whether you are a boy or a girl, you don't identify yourself either as a boy or a girl, then we call it as non-binary. The important thing is we all understand now that sex assigned at birth could be different from the gender identity. Now, third and probably the most important is your sexual orientation. If you are a boy, then you are sexually aroused or attracted towards a boy or towards a girl or towards both or towards none of them. If you are a boy and you are attracted towards a girl, then it is called as straight or heterosexual, which is majority, and they are attracted to the people of the opposite gender. If you are a boy and you are attracted towards a boy, you are called as gay. If you are a girl and are physically or sexually attracted towards a girl, you are a lesbian. Bisexual, if you are attracted to both genders. Pansexual, that means you are attracted to boy, girl, and also to this gender fluidity or non-binary people. And you are asexual if you are not attracted towards anyone. In sexual orientation, there are two very important things. One, you cannot choose your sexual orientation. It is innate. You cannot choose it. You cannot control it. So if you are a gay or lesbian, you can't control it. Second, it is entirely normal for young people in early and middle adolescence or even in early late adolescence to feel confused about their sexual orientation. That means if you are indulged in some homosexual experiences in early or middle adolescence age, that does not mean that ultimately you will end up being gay or lesbian. Very much possible that you will turn out to be heterosexual, and similarly vice versa. If you are having some heterosexual attraction in early and middle, and then finally you may come out with gay or lesbian. And thus we say that sexual orientation may be a dynamic journey. Now, purposefully, I brought this slide and I just want to introduce this topic, neuroscience behind adolescent sexuality. It's a very big topic and a very detailed number of researches and studies are there. But we must understand that there is sex-specific restructuring of the brain during puberty, by virtue of which we get aroused, we get sexual attraction towards same or opposite sex, we get libido, sexual acts, orgasm, all this. And this restructuring of the brain occurs by couple of factors. Mainly, it is the interplay of hormones which are responsible for secondary sexual characters. Same hormones and factors interplay and are responsible for this specific restructuring and recircuiting of the neurons in the brain for this customization. Social and cultural factors also play a role, whether you are living in a metropolitan city, you are living in a remote area, you are living in a higher socioeconomic group or lower socioeconomic group, your quality of relation with your parents, single parent, separated parent, disputed parent, good relationship. The presence of peers also is responsible for this restructuring. You are having a society who are pushing you towards drug abuse or sexual activity. So all these factors and mass media. You know that we always say that there is 270 times increase in sexual content in our media, and media is full of sexual information, whether it is right or wrong. Everything is being sold on media through sex. So we call it as sexual super peer for the adolescents. I'll tell you just one point in early, late and middle adolescence. In early, there is a dispute because we should really call it as early adolescence, because now you all know that puberty starts even at 9 years. We are getting menarche. So this age is decreasing. So एक point ये है. दूसरा, the main important is the secondary sexual characters start appearing in body, and therefore they wonder whether they are attractive or not, the size of my breast, the size of my penis, and so many body image issues are there. Thus, they need privacy. This is important. And the point which I want to bring is, because of this privacy, they are separated from the parents and pushed towards the peers. And thus, group activities are common in this. The fantasies, internet, peers, self-stimulation is common. Sex intercourse is, of course, it can happen, but is rare in early adolescence. And as I said earlier, the sexual orientation and gender identity may be changing in this phase. In middle, secondary sexual characters are fully developed, and feeling of omnipotence, invincible, I am unbeatable, I can do anything. So they are very daring, risk-taking, but simultaneously they are more vulnerable also. So they may land up into all sorts of risky sexual behaviors, and without knowing or without being concerned about the medical complications, STI, unwanted pregnancy, and all those things. So this is the main point in middle adolescence. In late adolescence, they now become comfortable with their sexual orientation, although sometimes we know that prefrontal cortex continue its development by 20 to 25 years of age. So they may be a little confused by that time, but still the rational thinking start appearing in late adolescence. The most important point is, as it is not yet completed, so the risk-taking or taking up the challenges continue, and live-in relationships or sexual experimentations. I'm not sure whether I'm a gay or homosexual or heterosexual or bisexual. So why don't just experiment with everybody and try to find out in which I get more pleasure. This is a changing trend, which I'm sure Atul will be talking about this. This is important. Now, if these transgenders are, they face, although we all know that in 2018, 377 has made homosexuality or bisexuality a legal thing, but still the society, it is stigmatized and there is no support. Everybody will agree. And they have to face a tremendous pressure even to tell to their friends, to their families, and families are non-supportive. They take long time to realize and accept it. But as I said earlier, we can't change it. So we must remember it. And this pressure may lead to high-risk behavior in them. This is very important point. We are not here to change them. We can't change them. So the message should be, let them be, and accept them gracefully, willfully. Andar kitna bhi tufan ho, but you should accept gracefully, because you can't change it. Now, what are the trends? Atul told me that you have to talk a little about trends in adolescent sexual behavior. This was probably, I felt, a most challenging task. Traditionally, we have thought about sexuality as including sexual fantasy, masturbation, non-penetrative sex, vaginal intercourse, oral sex, anal intercourse, and all those things. But in electronic age, other activities are included in sexual lexicon. Cyber sex has become most common. कुछ फायदे हैं, कुछ नुकसान हैं. STI or pregnancy nahi hoti, but school performance, depression, and all those things will come to it. They are there. Phone sex, sexting, sex in chat rooms with or without webcams, virtual sex, with use of avatars, and all those things are there. In COVID era, sex robot and sex robot with artificial intelligence. You want to have a sex with a child or you want to enjoy the rape. So all these can be tuned and customized in these sex dolls, and they are being sold as very commonly and in high demand in Las Vegas. Dr. Geeta Patil madam is here. She knows that just last year in November 22 in Bangalore, they randomly checked school bags because there was a complaint that children are carrying mobile phones in their school bags. And for this, these bags were checked. Mobile phone to mile hi, par saath mein duniya bhar ka saman mila, like condoms, contraceptives, alcohol, cigarette, all they were found in bag check. And not only this, what happened? Authorities decided that they will stop the sale of condoms so that children do not take them to the schools. Now, here I feel the role of IAP, the role of AHA should very strongly come up, should issue a white paper, and which was probably ultimately done also because that was not implemented, because you can't stop them from doing sex. If you stop making condoms unavailable, they will do unrisky behavior. The only answer is comprehensive sexual education. This is another point of worry that in 2021, we have increased the age of marriage from 18 to 21. And we have just seen that menarche is starting now at 9. So vulnerable period is increasing. So this again emphasizes the importance of comprehensive sexual education. And what is the result of this all vulnerable phases entering? That the abuse is increasing. Sexual abuse, sexual harassment, that is increasing. Cyberbullying, sex chatting, remember the first slide I showed. Because these poor fellows, they do not realize how and when to ask for help. And ultimately, they contact their peers, parents, because of lack of communication. And many times, the person who is doing this is so powerful in the family or so senior in the family that they fear of lodging complaint against it. What are the different types of abuses? We know that physical, sexual, reproductive coercion, cyber, sexual exploitation, and so on and so forth. Sexting. I took this specifically to tell you that it is not defined or addressed in any law in India. However, there is a law by which you can't share private pictures, messages, videos, especially of those under 18, either belonging to you or to others, without or with permission even. You can't share it. And it is considered a serious violation of privacy, and it can amount to sexual harassment, which is punishable under law. It is similar that marital rape is punishable, but there is no IPC for marital rape. You can do it in India. But if you do marital rape, then it can be a solid ground for divorce. So these funny things do happen. It is reported that 1 in 4 teens receive sex texts and 1 in 7 is reported to sending them. I think we must be aware of these common acronyms which the adolescents are using. If they type PAL, PAL, means parents are listening. PAW, parents are watching. POS, parents over shoulder. KOTL, kiss on the lips. 99, parents are gone. So And these are a couple of emojis which are self-explanatory and they have become very common. Sextortion, a very emerging phenomena, and I'm sure we must be aware about it, and all of us must have listened one or two incidences. They get control over your webcam by some technological advancement, and then you are blackmailed. Not only this, you will get an anonymous video call after a couple of messages with a very good profile picture. And as soon as you just on it, they will start recording your face and they will send you the video clipping and ask money for it. So all these things we usually discuss, that how to prevent sextortion, the same things by which you should maintain and ensure your privacy and dignity. The outcome of all these abuses: higher risk of pregnancy, we know; higher risk of STI, we also know. Especially cyber sex and all, of course, the abuses can lead to depression, anxiety, disordered eating, even suicides. You are forced for high risk for substance use and abuse, and scholastic performance is decreased to a great extent. And this emphasizes the comprehensive sexuality education. Dr. Geeta, Madam, will be taking over this. But it should be present in a school, and in a school, both abstinence and same sex should be highlighted. Parents should be very open in communication in home. And if there is refusal or embarrassment by the parents, then you are forcing them for high-risk behavior. The clinician approach, we should be well aware of HEADS and CDC's 5P for sexual history. This is from Atul's book, The Common Myths in Boys, very common, and I'm sure we must read it, and they should be used in practice day in and day out. They are just very simple and common. Similarly, the common myths for girls. Let us move from ignorance to knowledge and learn from a reliable source, rather than we should tell that to our adolescent patients. And we should also tell them that your golden years of life are for wisdom without confusion and for fun with responsibility. This is a very interesting, and I really impressed with this, that fun with responsibility. Have fun, but with responsibility. Thanks to Indian Academy of Pediatrics, which has come out with this, and these are the same chart of common myths and how and what you have to tell them. During Dr. P.A.T.H. Gupta's tenure, beautiful guidelines for parents are there, and they embark on these questions which parents usually ask. My daughter is 7-year-old and started breast development. So this was again for early and late puberty with 10 FAQs. So I'll recommend that each one of you should download these guidelines, these parental guidelines, and use them. A word about sexual and reproductive health. Sexual health is a state of physical, emotional, mental, social well-being in relation to sexuality. It is not merely absence of disease, dysfunction, or infirmity. This is WHO definition. And this implies two things: satisfying, pleasurable, and safe sex life, and have the capability to reproduce and the freedom to decide if, when, and how often to do so. That is, if one wants to have kids or not, when he wants to have, and how often he wants to go for this. For sexual health to be attained and maintained, the sexual rights of all must be respected, protected, and fulfilled. This was WHO's statement way back in 2006. And our adolescents are quite ignorant about their sexual rights. So this should be promoted and propagated. These are the sexual rights of adolescent, and I very strongly recommend that we must go on and we should know that it is their right to have safe and pleasurable sexual experience. On one hand, we say so. On other hand, it is our law that even with consent, if you are having sex with minor that is below 18, you will be booked. The sexual health is also discussed in Sustainable Development Goals, and this is a good sign because it has brought up a lot of funding into the adolescent sexual health. We have 5 key principles in essential service package. Equity of access. The adolescent services should be, everybody should know it. The quality of care should be there. Services must be respectful, non-judgmental, and confidential. Accountability should be set. All the multi-sectoral sex, health, labor, transportation, all multi-sectoral services should be there. And meaningful youth engagement must be ensured. Until and unless youth is involved, it will not be able to do it nicely. And there are a couple of adolescent services which they really need. Comprehensive education, counseling, antenatal, postnatal, childbirth, safe abortion, prevention and treatment of HIV. So these services should be there. What are the challenges? I said adolescent sexuality is considered a taboo. Entrenched gender inequality is there and it is extremely prevalent. Still in villages, the girls are fed usually least and last. Feed system, limited integration, changes in family and community from families are now being transported to nuclear families, and humanitarian and climate crisis are there. But there are opportunities also, inclusion of adolescent on global, regional and national agenda. Everybody is talking about the adolescent health, because now we have highlighted that, and everybody will agree with me that what has happened is that we have taken so much of interest and all our resources were into decreasing the neonatal mortality, decreasing the under 5 mortality. What has happened is we have never thought of decreasing the adolescent mortality, and that is either that is slightly increasing in fact or decreasing very lightly in a couple of countries. So this point has been emphasized, and this youth window, there is, if you see the population pyramid, then the majority of population in India is youth. So if we take care of them, then only things can start moving. So all these things are now realized by the policy makers, and therefore the adolescent health is on the top agenda. And as I said, in SDGs also it has been included. Renewed commitment is there, and the school enrollment after COVID also has started increasing. And of course, advances in technology is there. There are 5 strategic steps for next 10 years. Make full use of current political and social support, increase funding, develop enabling and protective laws and policy, use available evidence to strengthen policy and programs, and maintain quality and equity in all the strategies. To summarize, friends, accept gracefully sexuality of adolescent. Do not stigmatize and do not try to change it. Accept it gracefully. Provide complete information on adolescent sexuality and reproductive health resources, and fostering motivation are important for sexual health and risk education. Ensure comprehensive sexuality education and involve all segments of society, parents, teachers, religious leaders, social activists. School-based abstinence plus contraceptive intervention have been shown to be best. adequately handle challenges and grab opportunities, work on planned way. For the last 10 years, I have rushed through it because of time, but those 5 strategies, they are from the government's plan, that is RKSK I have taken. It is since 2014, but I'm sure none of us have started working on it. I will urge upon Dr. Geeta Madam 2 things. Take this and take adolescent immunization in a big way. Thank you very much. This is a pleasure project which is working. What has happened is, हम अभी तक sexuality को HIV से, teen pregnancy से, इससे उससे डरा धमका के रोकने के चक्कर में. But this pleasure project is just opposite. It says that ensure it is consensual, have fun, be safe. Freedom from all coercion, discrimination, and violence. So it must be freely, consent must be freely given, must be explicit in words or in actions, must be specific to each act, can be withdrawn anytime. Thank you, friends. This is the cover of Dr. Atul Kanikar's book, which I will very seriously request everybody to have a copy. This will definitely improve your adolescent practice. Even I keep it on my desktop in my OPD practice. Thank you so much, friends.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful session. I know that many people are having queries to ask and many are having some questions also, very important, but we'll take it at the end of the session. Now I request Dr. Geeta Patil Madam to start her presentation. She'll be talking on sexuality education. What is the role of gatekeepers? Who are the gatekeepers and what we should do about it? As we all know, Dr. Geeta Patil Madam is Senior Pediatric Consultant from Bangalore. She is the Adolescent Health Specialist and Counselor. She is IAP Bangalore. She was as IAP Bangalore President 2017. She was Joint Secretary National Pedicon Bangalore 2017. She was Chief Organizing Chairperson for the National Adolescent at Bangalore 2019. And she was Vice President Karnataka IAP 2021. She is now the Central AHA President-elect 2023. She has many publications, more than 14. She is faculty in local, state, national conferences, and she was the IAP Presidential Action Plan trainer for NCACD, NTAP, WAR, Fever, NEPU, MSU, MKU, and many more. Over to you, Dr. Geeta Patil, ma'am.
Is my screen visible? Yes. So
Yes, ma'am.
I'm very sure all of us are thinking about this topic the way Dr. Bansal sir has told, and definitely we are convinced that we have to move from the ignorance to the knowledge now. At the outset, let me thank Maharashtra IAP led by Dr. Ramakant Patil and Dr. Amol Pawar and very vibrant team of AHA, which is newly formed but doing very good work. It's a Nasik AHA led by Dr. Sucheta and Dr. Reena, and very appropriately guided by Dr. Atul Kanikar. So all of us, we have understood about the sexuality. Sir has touched most of the parts, sexuality, components of the sexuality, and all the things he has described so well. I don't think we'll have a doubt the way he has simplified the topic. It is a really challenge for me to follow a golden jubilee president in this talk, but I will try to do my level best. And following me is Dr. Atul Kanikar, whom we follow in our practice. So let me try my level best. So my first thing is, as sir has told, parents, pediatricians, teachers, policy makers all have to empower themselves about the sexuality knowledge by these scientific proper resources. As sir has just talked, this should be given to everyone, maybe little in a simplified knowledge for appropriate for that person. And sir has described very beautifully the challenges faced by adolescents globally as well as in India. But But let me talk about these problems of the roadblocks, myths associated with sexuality education, who can impart sexuality knowledge, what is the age to start sexuality knowledge, ultimately comprehensive sexuality education. Our goal is to achieve healthy sexuality knowledge, responsive sexual behavior. This terminology has to be remembered, and adequate, appropriate physical and psychosocial growth. So WHO sexual health definition already we have seen. And when I was going through the literature, I got, this is a very good article. It was in a psychiatry journal. What is the adolescent sex education in India and what is the current perspective? Right from the legal problem, everything is discussed here. If anybody is interested, I can give you a link. Before starting the discussion, let me tell the sexuality problems, what they come to us. First and foremost is a 12 years boy comes with a wet dreams. I'm not going to go into details of the case, but he is confused, anxious, and he doesn't remember his dreams also. And parents can't guide him. They go on accusing of being very busy with sexual thoughts and neglecting studies. And he ends up feeling a dirty, guilty, blames himself, wonders himself that he's a bad boy and he has got some sickness. He feels depressed, starts avoiding everyone, appetite, sleep gets disturbed, and his school performance deteriorates. He doesn't have idea, nobody to guide him. It becomes an embarrassing secret, personal shame. But obviously he goes to the senior friend who tells him a half-baked and inaccurate information that he will become a weak. But parents at the right time realize and take him to the pediatrician, who explains to the parents and adolescent, it is a normal developmental phase. So next is the case, a girl, 15 years old, girls to us, a mother tells that she is getting lower abdominal cramps and back pain during menstruation from last 1.5 years, menarche 3 years back, and is associated with nausea, diarrhea, along with pain. She feels very anxious and feels a bloating feeling, breast engorgement, headache, mood disturbances prior to menstruation. And very important point is she is missing the every month school, and it is noted down by her teacher, avoids participating in sports. But when we take the history, she tells that she is missing the school not only because of the menstrual, she doesn't have a good toilets because she need to change the pads. This also should be kept in mind by us. So parents definitely influenced by grandparent, they don't take to the doctor, but one of the teacher calls and tell, go to the pediatrician and gynecologist. Obviously, they are close to the pediatrician, they go to the pediatrician. Pediatrician correctly informs about dysmenorrhea. If it is not severe, obviously it has started when she has started ovulating, and nothing to worry, maybe mild painkillers, or maybe if it is a premenstrual syndrome, can change of the lifestyle, physical activity, proper diet definitely helps. We are not going to go into management modality. These are the cases I have told just to understand that we are getting day in and out. Sir has already told about global challenges and Indian challenges, what adults are facing. What are the risks in the adolescent age group? Let us see, which changes their sexual activity. So there is early physical maturity, early attaining puberty, late mental maturity. We know about the prefrontal cortex being not mature. So always very important. Experimentation, exploration. They have got a curiosity due to media, pornography, ignorance, misconceptions. The partners may be high risk. There are date rape, sexual abuse, strong desires because of the hormonal changes, low contraception usage, unprotected, unplanned sexual activity, peer pressure, coercive sexual experiences. Sir has shown the last slide. We have to take it in a very strong way by the IAP and A.H. School dropouts are also a problem. Occupational risk, domestic workers, lack of knowledge and life skills. So it changes their sexual activity. And obviously, we know that taboo topic, legality, discomfort, no social buffers, changing values, lifestyle, influence of media, and adolescent attaining puberty. Who are their wrongful teachers? Pornography, impact of peers, and sexual media. So I have shown there is a study done. So we should know about that. So we all have to learn up to talk about sex and body with a cultural competence, humility, and comfortably. So sexuality related issues already I have described too. There are many more are there. Sir has already told sexting. Digital exploitation is a very funny terminology, whether it comes under POCSO Act or not. There is a point of discussion. Maybe the wording has to change. When it came POCSO 2012, digital media was not strong, maybe it has to be added, but it comes under POCSO. So there are dating violence, revenge porn, rape, gender dysphoria. I think it will be discussed in the next talk by Atul. Depression, anxiety, breakup, suicide. Please remember, sexuality related issues, they do not present directly related to sexuality. I'm giving a simple example. A boy with excessive masturbation, he comes to us, he doesn't tell that. Parents don't know that. He says that his performance has reduced, and parents say that he's spending more time in the toilet. Proactively, we have to ask. First boy, we saw that his school performance was deteriorating. So it is very important for us to know about this. So obviously, we should know socio-environmental factors in the development of adolescent sexuality. Then only we can define the role of the caretakers. The attitude of parents towards sexuality, parenting style, peer relationship, cultural influences, gender bias, media influence, and law of the land. Let us not defy the law of the land, though the religious people will be involved with us, because the attitude of sexuality vary according to ethnicity, community, geography, family, socio-economic state, and religion. So IAP and A.H has to keep this thing also in mind to make it more feasible to be taught. Now, there are many myths which are the roadblock for us. Sexuality education lead to early sex and deprives the children of their innocence. Always thought like that. Only parents and close relatives can educate the adolescents about the sexuality. It's not. The sexuality education can be taught by anyone who is empowered with a proper scientific knowledge appropriate for that age. So sexuality education is only good for young people, but not for young children. Abstinence is the solution. Like ours is always system of pushing the problems below the carpet, like sexual abuse. We don't talk. Same thing, this also we don't talk. Sexuality, so they have to know about contraception. Sexuality education should only promote the values. That is our always thinking. Then sexuality education will lead to promiscuity, experimentation, irregular sexual behavior. Sex education has no place in our country. That much also people go extreme and tell, such as India with its rich cultural traditions and ethos. So sexual education in schools is very important. NCERT adolescent education program is there. School health program under Ayushman Bharat is there. But as we know, there is a objection. Maybe Dr. Atul may not agree, but I have already faced this. And some of the schools, it starts from 7th standard. Is it too late? It is also thinking because of the puberty setting early. So caretakers, pediatricians, teachers, community worker, government policies, but main important role is parents because they are in close proximity with the adolescent. So what age it should start? By the age of 2 years, once they start knowing the parts of their private parts, when the undergarment, the parts which are covered by the undergarments, we are knowing from the NCECD that safe, unsafe touch properly. So age appropriate information. First, before talking, find out what the child and adolescent knows. Don't be preaching type, always go on telling about the morality. Talk less, listen more. So there may be one small problem, but don't think it is a sexual abuse. It may be fungal infection also. But that is also very important. Encourage the queries. See, small child will ask you, small child I am telling, not adolescent, where from the baby comes. See, you should be anticipate and be prepared for that. They may ask that second sibling is coming, how it happened. Be honest. Be non-judgmental. See, have open-ended questions. You can talk to the adolescent. You should not tell this. Do you feel that this is good? Then they will say yes or no. Instead of that, we say, what is your opinion? How we have to go in this? All these things are very important. There are many teachable moments are there. When you are watching movie, TV, WhatsApp, so many times we can start the discussion properly, but not always in the preaching mode. Definitely morals, values have to be taught, but in a very teachable way. See, sometimes the adolescent will ask you, when girls will start the chum, or boys will tell till what age my height is growing. Obviously, they know that, but they want to know whether they are normal or abnormal. So obviously, parents have to know about that. And this is the question behind the question, what I quoted now. Values should be imbibed, definitely. See, if the parents are not there, peers, environment will develop a distorted vision of the sexuality among the adolescents. So let us not happen that. So crush, lust, true love. These are the things if you talk. See, these adolescents, many of them, they have got a relationship. So they will evaluate their relations. So when you say crush, you can tell in a simple word. It focuses on looks, body. It is a short-lived commitment, self-satisfaction. Sharing is rare. Focus on the present. Family is not involved. Self-protection in crisis. Aims at sexual pleasure. But true love is, it depends on the look, skill, personality. It is a near lifetime commitment. Other person's happiness is important. It is a plan for mutual growth, mutual fulfillment, activities, family sharing, and protection of the partner. So if they are empowered with the knowledge by the parents or the caretakers, definitely they will choose their options, and they will have a choice, and they will take a responsibility of their choice also. So this is very important for us to know. So responsible sexual behavior is the thing WHO is always talking. Not hurting yourself, not hurting other person. ABCD, abstinence, faithful, contraceptive, disease alert, very important. And always, many of them, there is a thing, when it is appropriate to get into physical relationship. There should be clear-cut talks about that. Understanding yourself, caring, love, concern, honesty, sincerity. And outcomes of sexual activity, definitely parents should explain. It is a pleasure, bonding, responsibility, but don't forget about distraction, pregnancy, sexually transmitted diseases, and very important, infertility in undetected sexually transmitted diseases. So we can tell the parents, get educated about pubertal development and always understand the problems. See, most of the parents are uncomfortable talking about sex. They don't take the responsibility. There is a study I'm going to quote in the next slide. They don't feel that it is their responsibility, which is done in the Mumbai one college. So parents need to know from the health experts, and we people, P.A.T.H, should have and reach them and percolate the knowledge. And please make them to be aware sexuality knowledge is not only sexual behavior. The attitude of parents toward adolescents must be positive. Same time, adolescents also feel parents are there to solve the learning problem and other issues, but not for their emotional problems and sexual health information and problems. See, it is my observation. Girls do communicate with the mothers more than the boys may hesitate. I'm very sure. Maybe I'm a female pediatrician, so I may not be getting a males, but it may be, I feel that they don't come to us that frequently. This is the study which I already told. And life skills. When you teach this life skill during the sexuality education, can help during in general life also, like a self-awareness. Who am I? Self-control, assertiveness, decision-making, saying no, very important, critical thinking. A girl wants to defend yourself is not offending anyone. Effective communication, coping with the stress, all these life skills are important parents to teach. Let me clear that parents should know about the legal aspect also. Like a consensual sex age is 18 years. Marriageable age is 18 years in female and 21 years. See, the proposal is given, but still the law is not passed about 21 years of marriageable age about the girls. It is going on discussion in the assembly. And now Atul Kanikar is going to discuss about the consensual homosexual intercourse is no longer a criminal offense. Transgender protection of right bills has come in 2019 is very important. POXO Act, MTP Act, Child Helpline, cyber crime. These things are very important because cyber harassment, sexual harassment, which comes under POXO Act, depends on the way you parents complain. So our goals, pediatricians have to develop a skill, comfort, talk, listen actively, develop confidence, and accept what adolescent thinks. Don't go on forcing your things. Ask them open-ended questions, and judgmental and preaching attitude should be given off. So accurate, precise information of the human sexual development should be given in the clinic. You should have some resources in your clinic. See, Atul Kanikar's book, as sir has advised, please keep on your table. You learn many things through that in a very simple way. Teaching, not preaching about accepting the body. This preaching word should go. Skill, decision-making, life skills, contraception education, sexual abuse prevention, sharing the information regarding the laws of the land. I heard MKC sir always telling, please don't disrespect the law of the land. So definition of comprehensive sexuality education, it is always CSE. I'm not going to go into detail. It is a curriculum-based process of teaching, learning about the cognitive, emotional, physical, and social aspects of sexuality, aims to equip children and young people with knowledge, skills, attitudes, and values that will empower them, that they will realize their healthy well-being, dignity, and develop a respectful social sexual relationship. And this definition is given everywhere, and they can have their choices, which will affect their well-being and others' well-being also. And they will understand and ensure the protection of the rights. So human rights, same way, sexuality education is perceived as a basic human right that falls broader title under reproductive rights. So it is a very big topic to be discussed. It is there in NCERT Conceptual Framework Adolescent Education Program. I found out this thing from a school. So what are the advantages of effective comprehensive sexuality education program? So sexuality education starts from the age of 2 years. It has to be given by, not by only the close relative or parents. The person who is empowered with the scientific knowledge can give it. But main person is a parent. So it will reduce the misinformation among the youth. This must be age appropriate, culturally relevant, scientifically accurate, culturally competent, with a gender equality and positive approach. This is a very important thing to be remembered. Let us not get carried away by our zeal of teaching them. All these things you have to keep it in mind. Increase the communication with parents or trusted adults. This will help. Adolescents abstain from or delay the debut of sexual relations, reduce the frequency of unprotected sexual activity, reduce unintended pregnancy, sexually transmitted infection, reduce date rape, sexual abuse. Date violence is a big problem. It will help to deal with the complex issues of sexuality in a non-judgmental and non-discriminative ways, which will be discussed in the next talk. So government policies are already there, like FLE. I want to tell, sex and sexuality education, we don't talk in the school. We talk under FLE, family life education. Then there is RKSK is there. Reproductive, mother, neonatal, child health plus A. That is adolescent health strategy is there. Kishore Shakti Yojana is there. Balika Samriddhi Yojana to delay the age of marriage is there. Reproductive and child health program, adolescent friendly health services, national AIDS control program. All are there, but are they implemented? Is there freedom to implement? So what is the role of AHA and IAP? Has to be decided. So there are, our present president is very interested in school health programs. Maybe this also has to be added in that school health program. I'm not sure about their agenda, but I'm just commenting. So what is the message adolescent we are going to give? Healthy adolescent sexual development not involves only bodily changes or sexual behavior or searching for the new healthcare needs. It also involves building the emotional maturity, relationship skills, healthy body image. So what adolescents should have? Feeling, I am the custodian of my mind, body, soul. I promise to protect it, preserve it, and enhance it. So what are the key messages? So I have tried to cover up many things, the importance of sexuality education and role of everyone, more so of the parents. So sexual development and growth is a natural part of the human development. Healthy sexual expression is different than the sexual risk. We have to remember these words. And same-sex sexual behavior is included in the realm of healthy sexuality, will be discussed a little later. So this is the message. So always we say, I think this is always Dr. Preeti tells about this, talk the talk before they walk the walk. So adolescents should be well informed, all the aspects of sex and sexual health. It is a duty of health personnel, definitely. But equally important is careful parenting, keeping the connections open, never snub them. Empower yourself to answer their questions. So adolescents are the greatest resource for a society to thrive. It is a triple dividend is there to make the adolescent health better in globally and more so in our country to meet the SDG goals. So this is very important for us to know. and I have tried my level best to tell about the importance of sexuality education. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Excellent talk. Now I will hand over mic to Dr. Atul Kanikar, sir. He will highlight on us about the next topic. The topic he must be telling. Dr. Atul Kanikar, sir, we all know he is practicing pediatrician as well as adolescent counselor for more than 18 years in Nashik. He has conducted more than 350 parenting workshops, and he has connected with more than 600 school college programs for family life education. And he has taken more than 40 innovative workshops for teachers orientation on adolescent health. He is a faculty at national and international conferences of IAP, as well as he is our most favorite author about the book from terrible to terrific teens. He is author in UG textbooks for postgraduate textbooks also. Hand over to Atul Kanikar, sir.
Thank you, Sulbha Power, madam. I'm not so techno savvy, so I don't know whether am I audible,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
and is my screen now visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So most of the talk, like previous two talks, both were excellent. Bansal sir and Geeta Patil madam, they have done most of my job. So let us save the Sunday time and spend it more beautifully than listening to just lectures online. Fine. Now I have put the first picture. It's because as CP sir, Bansal sir said, that maturity is taking place early in our children, both in boys and girls. Not only physical, but internet maturity is also going up very fast. And we have seen that post-COVID and during COVID, that mobile use and internet use was exponentially increased. So girls are maturing early, physically. But within the brain, they're still a child. And that explains their ultimate exploitation online or offline in person. So I'm just going to talk about whatever experimentations in this age group, which I have seen as cases in my clinic. As we all know, 10 to 25 is the period of expanding in size, and pubertal changes occur and maturity takes place. Not only pubertal changes, but even the brain maturity also takes place. Experiencing of most of the experiences in our teenage are good, but sometimes some experiences are hurting and have a lasting consequence. What we are worried as gatekeepers, as Geeta Patil madam mentioned, is their experimentation part. And we should teach them, we should talk openly with them before they explore themselves and do the experimentations. So these are the various experimentations that are seen in our practice. Most of us have done it as teenagers or youths. Most have done it, let us say, loud. And because we were not enlightened on this particular sensitive topic and all our teachers were senior friends, and those yellow books which we had and some videos, that time we used to have a video room in the hostel, and we used to cover it properly with newspapers and then watch those porn movies. And these movies, they taught us mostly wrong things. I'll tell you why. Most of the experimentations and events that occur in this age group are planned activities. They happen in a rush. Opportunities are very, very ample. We say after Navratri, after the Garba, most of the girls become Garbhavati. So they are actually Garbhavatis. Because there are opportunities, birthday parties, get-togethers, parents are, latchkey parenting is there. Now, these things, they begin as non-penetrative acts, progressing very rapidly to penetrative acts. And the age of initiation of these particular acts is also decreasing day by day because of a lot of opportunities available. Joint families are rare these days. Previously, the grandparents were the, guards of the house. Now they are very easily, these teenagers can contact each other because everybody has a mobile. And as Bansal sir mentioned, there are very typical code words for these children and nobody can understand, but the other person knows it. And there, most of the relationships, modern relationships, they don't seek permanence. Previously, in our days, having an affair usually used to end in a marriage. But nowadays, raat gayi, baat gayi, bam, bam, thank you, ma'am. That is the type of attitude that most of them have. And they boast about having multiple partners. Sorry about this cough and cold. Partners are likely to be high risk because they are also equally ignorant as the victim. So usually combined with drug abuse, very, very common, concurrent drug abuse and rash driving. We have that Sula vineyard in Nasik, if you have visited sometime. Most of the accidents occur while coming back from that Sula vineyard. And there is a typical 1 or 2 spots on the way, which are famous for having multiple accidents. They want to identify with the peer group. So because my friends are doing it, I also need to do it. And as I said earlier, this is a period of experiencing and experimenting. Revenge porn is very common among celebrities, and that Me Too movement, which was there a few years ago, that was nothing but revenge porn. That the video is taken of that particular friendship, and then the girl usually is victimized or blackmailed for making the videos viral. Gay relationships we'll see in a short while. Most important thing is they are not using condoms, as mentioned by Bansal sir, and they don't know how to use condoms properly. The maximum use of or inadvertent use of emergency contraception is the result of ignorance among girls. So now we are seeing, only recently I had a girl of 15 years old, last week only, and she was doing all this because of her peer pressure coming from a convent school. And as she was spending time with her boyfriend in the garden, she was video recorded. And the boy was threatened for some monetary gains. But then this came under POCSO, and we had to report this case to the authorities. Sorry. So these are the various experimentations. Partner swapping is known amongst friends. And because they are not bothered, they don't have much emotional involvement with the partner. So multiple partners, okay, twosome was common and is common, but threesome, foursome activities are also very getting popular day by day. Oral and anal sex, usually it starts in the middle age, middle adolescence, where this particular exploration starts, and the sexual urges are at the peak during middle, 14 to 16 years of age. So most of these activities, including anal sex, are very, very common in that age group. We have these sex toys available, slightly expensive, but some are cheap as well. Now the mannequin that is shown here is a sex doll. Her name is Lisa or something, and the price is 3,50,000 or something. It's available. There are various types of foreign bodies, gay relationships. They are watching porn and doing the acts. So porn assisted how to do it and what different types of asanas you can do is depicted on the porn movie, and they copy that particular act. Drug abuse, as I mentioned, is also very rampant side by side. They drink, they have drugs to enhance their sexual urges and performances. And on the move, they are doing it in the bus, in the train, in the flight also sometimes, and cyber sex. This I have received 3-4 days ago, that a kissing device has been invented in China, where you can actually do the long distance couples can do the kissing with their, it actually resembles the true life kissing episode also. So this is about the gay relationships, that these relationships are known in the history of our planet in all the races and socio-economic strata, all the countries. And it has been depicted in the Khajuraho temple also, if you have visited that. The only crime, even since then, is about the bestiality. So even today, our Indian law is against bestiality, that is sex with animals. So these children, especially girls, they have a problem in knowing their sexual orientation. Although physically they are mature, but they have problems in using public toilets, participating in contact sports, because there is some repulsion towards that. So finding a mate who also is a gay person is very difficult, and expressing the sexuality to other people. So they have conflicts with siblings, with parents, usually, and with friends also, because they are labeled as gay. And as CP sir mentioned, that it is not yet, although the Article 377 has been abolished, but still acceptability of gay relationships will take time, at least 2-3 generations down the line. So they have peer rejection, they have defamation and bullying also sometimes. And sometimes parents take it as a marriage as a solution to resolve all these issues. And they do have unbearable premarital and postmarital distress. I have seen 2-3 couples referred by gynecologists who had some problem with their sexual performances. And the woman, she revealed that she actually was in a relationship before marriage. And now they find each other not so comfortable to be together. So they have mental health issues like depression. The couples, they have aggressive behavior sometimes towards each other. They have suicidal and homicidal tendencies, and domestic violence is known in same-sex couples. So sometimes short-lived same-sex attractions can occur in hostels, or our children now are sharing flats with other friends. So sometimes it can happen, but it may not last permanently. Now, this Skype exhibitionism is very common. I had a girl who was having a video chat with the boy, and they were both trying to depict as if they are together. And then the other boy, he was shooting from the camera from the same room, but invisible to the camera of that particular laptop. And then this girl was like a revenge porn, she was blackmailed. So exhibitionism is very common. Revealing pictures, as we know, selfies are becoming popular. Our Navratri dress, that Madhuri Dixit type open back dress, these things are actually, used to being spotted out in the crowd and to impress the crowd. They have videos also sharing on online, intimate jokes, and they have their own unknown language which they use. They have chats with strangers. As sir said, most of the boys before the age of 18 and girls before the age of 18, almost 70% are abused online by known or unknown people, especially when they log in for cyber games with unknown people. So we have to teach our children that accepting a Facebook request or online request by unknown people or friend of friends should be totally avoided. These are the various apps which are downloadable. iKama Sutra is getting very popular nowadays. These are the lesbian apps and online friendship and sexting chats. And this particular picture at the bottom is Miss Universe Spain 2018. And she is proud. She was the first LGBT to receive this particular award. Date rape, the commonest drug is flunitrazepam, which is tasteless, colorless, and odorless. It is available on the counter, not very expensive, and it is given to the girl or the victim by putting it in a cold drink. So we have to teach our children that if you have a cold drink or whatever drink at the parties, open a sealed bottle and pour your drink. Don't take any drink from a stranger or known person also. So this particular drug causes some amnesia for a few hours. And there are some drugs which are like flunitrazepam, which enhance sexual urges in the victim. So the girl under the effect of drug and with the enhanced sexual urge is likely to be, used up in the such parties. So rave parties, usually they employ rohypnol or flunitrazepam. This girl had come to me, and she was the victim of such particular, something given by her boyfriend. And then she had come to me, and then we had to actually do her pregnancy test. Fortunately, she was 18 plus, so it was not very unsafe for me. And this was 10 years ago. Now, many times the girl or the boy may not want to go for physical intimacies, or not sure whether I should do it. As Geeta Patil said, they don't know when to start. Okay. So in that case, the first thing you have to do is praise the teenager for obtaining help and contacting you. Life skills, minimum 6 life skills should be taught to such a person who is reluctant to actually go forward with the relationship. Avoid tempting situations, and concurrent drug abuse is something you can teach, and self-control and safe methods of having friendship or having relationship. Now, in this way, if we teach the child or the child follows what we tell, there will be increased self-esteem, self-confidence in the child. The child is likely to engage in more creative acts, which he or she is capable of. There will be physical and mental peace, and the child may have fun without regrets. But these are rare situations. Many times, the girl or the boy may want to, sabhi karte hai, to I'll also do it type. So in that case, ask the child to rethink. Use barrier contraceptives, teach them how to put on a condom. Okay, most of the girls, they actually nowadays are carrying 1 or 2 condoms in their purse, as was found in the Bangalore surprise check-in. So find other mental health issues like externalization of depression that can manifest as promiscuous or multi-partner sexual activities. So face the consequences. What consequences, physical, mental, and social consequences, should be explained to the child, and should also be told that it will ultimately leave some guilt in your mind. The relationship may end anytime without any permanence. There is a risk of teenage pregnancy because there is no contraception which is 100% safe and effective. STIs can happen, hepatitis B and HIV, syphilis, gonorrhea, and all those things. And then ultimately you will land up with mental problems and social hazards. You'll be labeled as a bad child. So these are the physical consequences, mental and social consequences. So if such a child comes to us in our clinics, what we should do is we should play safe, save our own skin, then only we can save the child and the family. So we have to report the case if the child is less than 18. One number for cyber harassment, as told by Dr. Geeta Patil Madam, is 1930, 1930. So learn about POCSO. We hardly know the POCSO Act in detail with modern or everyday amendments in the Act. That was written in 2012. Now it is over the period of 10 years. There are so many amendments and new changes that we must be aware of. If both the child and the perpetrator are below 18 years, the case goes to Juvenile Justice Code. We must collect and preserve all the evidence, physical form or electronic format. All the conversation, all the chats on the mobile should be preserved by the victim and shared with the parents. We have to reassure the child for taking help. We have to praise the parents for bringing the child to us, inform the consequences and future plan of action, and be the negotiator if the child needs to be referred to a psychiatrist. Okay, and keep the follow-up. So best thing is to educate them before they start with experimentation. That is what we should teach. So this is the last slide, I think, that both the boys and girls walking into our clinic should be taught about this particular picture, that don't succumb to a boy's pressure just because he is the only one you think who loves you. So don't fall prey on the Valentine Day or on his birthday, or don't engage unless you want to do. If you want to do, face the consequences and take proper precautions. And the boys should be taught that if the girl is not allowing you to do anything to her, first start respecting her feelings, and then only she will give all that she can to you. So thank you so much for your time, especially on a Sunday morning. Thank you so much.
Being unwell, sir, you presented the topic so well.
Thank you, madam.
I want all participants to be on one screen now so that we can take a group picture and then we can go for the question and answer session for only 5 minutes. Thank you. Your camera is on.
I think the organizers should be happy that we have finished on time. Sulba madam, Shyam sir.
Obviously, sir. Obviously, sir. Dr. Ramakant Patil sir also joined for few minutes here. Sir, any comments? And Dr. Amol Pawar sir also.
Thank you so much. The Tejonidhi of Adolescent Health, Dr. C.P. Bansal sir, President A.H.A. elect, President-elect, Dr. Geeta Patil madam, and our very own homegrown Dr. Atul Kanikar and A.H.A. Nashik, ably represented by Dr. Sucheta, Dr. Reena, Dr. Sulabha. It was wonderful session. Even if we both are traveling, we had some glimpses and pearls of knowledge, information, and wisdom from all the three luminaries. It was wonderful, and I congratulate again A.H. Academy and Maha-AP for continuing this program path, which is brainchild of Dr. Atul Kanikar. And I particularly thank C.P. Bansal sir and Geeta Patil madam for giving their time on Sunday morning and enlightening us on this very relevant and important topic. I request Atul to have a special session on POXO to educate all the pediatricians and, if required, gynecologists and obstetrician. Thank you so much.
We have one such session of POXO, maybe later on, somewhere in November or December. It is there.
So it is need of the time, and your whole session should be on POXO. And who's who of AHA and legal fraternity should definitely be on that session. Thank you, Sulba. Thank you for giving us an opportunity to interact with.
Sulba madam.
We'll move for one or two questions if Pallavi madam allows us. One question if anybody want to ask.
Yes, ma'am. If anybody wants to ask the question, he can unmute himself. Thank you.
The
Okay,
session
there are no
conducted was so
questions.
well. So
Yeah,
I
no
don't think there is
questions,
any
Sulba madam.
question.
Sulba
Yes.
madam, there are no questions either. They have not understood anything. That can be concluded.
No, sir. You all three are so excellent that whatever the doubts were there in the mind, they are already cleared up.
Even next month's session, we have not yet finalized, but probably it will be on the interviewing of a teenager. And
Yeah,
that is
heads.
the most important thing that we all should learn as practicing pediatricians. So be prepared next month, first Sunday. Okay.
I think this was the most difficult topic which you all three presented today, and you made us easy how to deal with such cases when they come to our OPDs. I think we all pediatricians should learn from all these things. And I thank you, IAP Maharashtra, to give me this opportunity. I thank all the speakers, Dr. Atul Kanikal sir, Dr. Geeta Patil madam, Dr. C.P. Bansal sir, and all the attendees here, all the seniors who are present here. And if nobody is having doubt, I think we can leave the meeting now and we can complete the session.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can I talk, Sulba?
Yes, ma'am. Sure.
If our session makes our pediatricians comfortable to talk the topic in a scientific way to the adolescents and parents and on the community level in school or in the schools, definitely we will be able to achieve our goals very easily. Whatever sir has told and Atul has told, it will be very easily will reach to the needy who really are required right now in our, as the rapes are increasing, abuse is increasing. It will change whole scenario.
It should. So the acceptability will increase provided we do it in the right way. There were objections to sexuality education because it was not done in a way that is acceptable to them. If we do it in a teenage friendly way, in a parent wisdom way, I think there will be nobody who will object to this type of sexuality education. Thank you so much, all of you. Thank you, Ramakant, for this particular job given to me. Bye-bye. Have a nice Sunday.
Thank you all. Pallavi madam, we can complete the topic.